makes his debut March 20th.
I only tease him because I know he's got this.
Also, make sure to check out Nancy O'Dell letting Closer magazine inside her spectacular home. The house is off the charts.
Beautiful.
That issue is on stands now. Take care, everybody. Nancy, can I come live with you?
Can we move in?
I'd like to invite you to the all-new South Texas Buick GMC located off of Benson Road and Expressway 83 next to Harley-Davidson.
Save thousands during the President's Day event, like on a new 2015 Sierra Double Cab with up to $7,250 off. Sierra Crew Cab, save up to $4,000. GMC Acadia, 0% APR for 60 months plus $1,000 in loyalty. GMC, we are professional grade.
We're the only South Texas Buick GMC dealer in the Valley. Not the biggest, just the best.
From the Valley's News Channel, this is Channel 5 News at 5.
Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us. I'm Oscar Adame. Melissa Correa has a day off. At the top this afternoon, funding for the Department of Homeland Security is set to run out in about 7 hours if a $40 billion funding bill is not passed. Lawmakers deciding on a possible 3-week extension that would prevent a shutdown. Let's turn right now to our Carrie Zayas, who is on top of some developing news right now. Carrie, can a deal be reached in time?
Well, Oscar, lawmakers are down to the wire. By midnight, thousands of the Department of Homeland Security could be furloughed, and thousands more face having to work without pay if a compromise is not reached. That affects a whole lot of people working right here in the Valley. Now, you can describe this as a legislative standoff of sorts. The standoff is centered around President Obama's executive actions on immigration. Amendments added to funding the bill would bar any federal funds from being used to carry out those orders. And now the Senate did manage to pass a clean measure this morning. That means that it was a bill funding the Department of Homeland Security only through the end of the fiscal year in September, and it left out any ties to the president's immigration plan. Now, the House Republicans, though, are not giving in the way that their Senate counterparts did.
House Republicans have a plan that is a staggering failure of leadership that will prolong this manufactured crisis of theirs and endanger the security of the American people.
Some Republicans argued that a DHS shutdown would not lead to crisis.
When you look at the Department of Homeland Security, at least 85% of it are essential services, which means whether or not the funding runs out, the essential services will continue. Border Patrol, Custom Border Protection, ICE, among them.
A short-term fix will likely come in the form of a stopgap funding measure that would keep Homeland Security fully operational for about another 3 weeks. But the House just rejected that bill 30 minutes ago. So right now, if no agreement is reached and the Department of Homeland Security is shut down, then Congress would have to decide whether Homeland Security employees would get retroactive pay after this shutdown and after a bill is worked out. Again, they have just under 7 hours to try to come to an agreement. You can count on us to keep you updated on any new developments. Live in the newsroom, Carrie Zayas, Channel 5 News at 5.
The recent indictment of the Indian Lake Police Chief John Chambers led us to question just how the department was being run. Now we have learned that recent audits by the state show the department had serious problems well before the chief was arrested this week. Leslie Aguilar in our studio with more. Leslie?
Yeah, Oscar, these reports from the Texas Commission on Law Enforcement, they audit police departments throughout the state. They make sure officers have been fingerprinted, that they've been checked for criminal history, and that they're up to date on firearm qualifications. Chief Chambers was indicted for falsifying firearm qualification documentation, but the commission had pointed out many other problems in the department before that. A 2013 audit listed several deficiencies. According to the audit, Chambers could not find the current firearm qualifications for his officers. He also could not show that his officers had been fingerprinted. He was given 30 days to fix those problems. The commission returned 2 years later, January 13th of this year. Auditors found that the problems had not been corrected and that there were new problems as well. According to the latest audit report, one of his officers said he'd never been arrested or detained by law enforcement. That turned out to be false. but the department didn't catch that because it failed to check the officer's criminal history or run his prints. That officer had been arrested for misdemeanor family violence assault. Now, the department also failed to submit racial profiling reports which document the race of each person an officer stops or arrests. Chambers should be arraigned on his most recent indictment soon. He's also set to go to trial on March 24th in a separate and unrelated criminal case. Live in the studio, Leslie Aguilar, Channel 5 News at 5.
This just into the Channel 5 newsroom. Parents of students at Todd Middle School in Donna will be notified about a grenade scare earlier this afternoon. They will get that information by phone calls made through the district's automated system. Coaches at the campus found what appeared to be a grenade in the school gym just before 3:45 this afternoon. Students had already been released for the day. Donna ISD police determined it was a fake. They continue to investigate. They tell us surveillance cameras are reported to be in the area. All new at 5, federal authorities finally speaking out about last Friday's riot at the Willacy County Correctional Facility. More than 600 inmates remained there 1 week after that riot left 5 people injured. Kurt Chason was there when it happened. He has tracked the story since. He joins us now from our newsroom with the latest developments. Kurt?
Well, Oscar, we had been trying to get a statement from the Federal Bureau of Prisons since Tuesday morning. We also asked them several questions. Some they answered, some they won't. Of course, we now know that inmates set fires and damaged the prison after complaining about the quality of medical care. A company called Management and Training Corporation runs the center for the Federal Bureau of Prisons. All the inmates at the facility were non-U.S. citizens. The American Civil Liberties Union is critical of the government's use of for-profit companies to house immigration violators.
A person was apprehended and then deported. But what we're doing now is imprisoning people only then to deport them at the end of their sentence. This not only is a waste of taxpayer money, but we're subjecting people to these inhumane conditions that tears family apart.
Management and Training Corporation insists it follows national medical and correctional standards. The company has 6 years left on what's essentially a 10-year contract with the federal government. The Bureau of Prisons now tells us that contract is worth almost $48 million a year. Now, we're also checking into some kind of miscommunication between prison security and Raymondville firefighters on Wednesday night. Firefighters responded to the prison after the fire was already out. Prison officials say security questioned the firefighters and then explained that it was operating on a heightened security level. We have a call into the Raymondville fire chief. We'll bring you more on that as we get it. Live in the newsroom, Kurt Chason on Channel 5 News at 5.
Still have clouds over most of the valley this afternoon, and occasionally a couple sprinkles starting to form, but nothing heavy out there. The first 1.5 Doppler network shows a couple sprinkles and some patchy drizzle starting to roll in off the Gulf. And if we look off to the southeast, there's more of it starting to form. So you might see a sprinkle now and then this evening, but generally most of the evening is going to be dry and just cloudy. Temperatures are running in the low 60s right now and will likely fall through the 50s during the evening with a light wind from the north or northeast. So fairly cool start to the weekend, but warmer weather is going to try to make a return by Sunday or Monday. We'll track the warm up in your first 1.5 7-day forecast straight ahead.
But the Catholic Diocese says they continue to feed the hungry. They tell us no one is turned away. Our Shelley Childers joins us now. She's in our studio to explain what they did in helping today. Shelley?
In the most basic way, the church is helping to feed those in need. That includes parents and families who cannot find work without legal documents.
Welcome to St. Mary's Works of Mercy.
A small building with a modest exterior is host to rooms filled with hope and help.
It's full of people, lines of people coming in to get food.
The food pantry opens twice a week. Inside, clients are asked to show proof of income and a local address. When it comes to their immigration status,
we don't ask.
Gloria Garcia, the director here, tells us their legal status doesn't matter.
If people are hungry, we're not going to deny them food.
Folks like Martin Iniguez,
canned vegetables, bread, cereal,
are given the most basic necessity, food without fear. Originally from Matamoros, he tells us he's been using the pantry for about 18 months.
Many have low income, and the church in this way helps the community.
The church says they are filling the gaps when illegal immigrants cannot step out of the shadows.
If it rains a lot, and those people that cut yards for a living, they can't do the work, so then we get more people that show up.
Monsignor Herberto Diaz estimates the need for help just within the Catholic community alone is great.
They're not able to work and they're not able to provide for their families. I see that all the time. And I know many people like that.
Is this literally for people who would have no food otherwise?
Sometimes that's the case.
The food is only enough to get by for a week or two. The baskets and bags are filled by a community of volunteers. Garcia says they will continue their work every day with a smile until the need is gone. Shelley Childers, Channel 5 News, Brownsville.
Another note to Shelley's report, work of Mercy Food Pantry is a partner with the Rio Grande Valley Food Bank. The food bank tells us in order to receive food, their partners must meet certain guidelines. Asking for legal status of a client is not required. The partner must be a 501c3 charity. Clients must show proof of address, and food pantries report monthly to the food bank. 6 people in 3 different states arrested for trying to join ISIS, what authorities say they did. Plus, also on the way.
I can't believe that some students could have their mind blown by that and leave the country to go there.
As more Westerners leave their country for ISIS, many wonder what the group's appeal is, how they're recruiting. All that in 2 minutes. Plus this.
Indicated that she was in the residence and apparently had heard gunshots.
A man goes on a shooting rampage, gunning down 4 of his cousins. 3 others also died. The alleged gunman's motive coming up a little bit later in our newscast. You're watching Channel 5 News at 5.
Breaking news, breaking stories. This is Channel 5 News with Oscar Adame, Melissa Correa, and First Warn 5 Weather with Chief Meteorologist Tim Smith. This is Channel 5 News at 5.
Drive a 2015 Cadillac CTS for just $449 per month. Come discover a new standard of luxury ownership at Bert Ogden Cadillac Mission. Dale gas.
Your story doesn't add up. Where were you Friday night?
I told you.
Tell me again about this deal.
I switched to Time Warner Cable and got more HD and movies from Epix, ultra-fast internet, and unlimited nationwide calling.
Go on.
With TV equipment included, all for $89.99 a month. And for $9.99 a month, I added stars with a $50 rebate.
He's telling the truth. That's a great deal.
Yeah.
Oh, I love this show.
Oh, I do too.
Call now and get free installation. Time Warner Cable. Enjoy better. Get happy, McAllen. A new HomeGoods is coming. Get inspired. Get organized. Get creative. Get excited. Get a whole lot more for a whole lot less. Don't miss the HomeGoods grand opening, Sunday, March 1st at 8 a.m. for a chance to win a $1,000 shopping spree. Be HomeGoods happy.
Your next adventure starts here in the new 2015 Ford Expedition with EcoBoost. It's the most powerful and fuel-efficient Expedition ever. An innovative power fold third row folds completely flat, so it's easy to bring all your gear. And sync with My Ford Touch and navigation keeps you connected. Ford Expedition. Life is better uncharted.
Come experience the new luxury lineup from Lincoln and see how Bogus redefines personalized customer service. This is real luxury, and Bogus is the Valley's only destination for Lincoln. Right now, you can lease a 2015 Lincoln MKC for only $359 a month, or lease a 2015 Lincoln Navigator for only $649 a month. Bogus Lincoln in McAllen, just off Highway 83 and west of Bogus Ford. It's better at Bogus.
Authorities are releasing more information on the arrest of a man on terror-related charges in Indiana. Officials say 26-year-old Nihad Rosic and 5 others were arrested 3 weeks ago. Rosic was arrested on the same day President Obama visited the state, but the FBI says the two are not connected. Rosic was arrested along a highway near an airport in Plainfield. He is one of 6 Bosnian nationals who were rounded up in Indiana, Chicago, and St. Louis. They're all charged with plotting to send money and weapons to ISIS. An Ohio man pled not guilty to charges he helped support terrorists. He was arrested after a 1.5-year investigation. Investigators say the man was part of a Somali community in Columbus, Ohio, and he gave a computer tablet and other support to terrorists overseas. He's also accused of laundering money. His bond was set at $1 million. And the number of cases being investigated linked to support for ISIS tied to people in the U.S. is growing, but there is also the broader picture of North America. 6 Canadians may have left the country to join the terror group. CNN's Mary Maloney shows us more evidence of ISIS using social media to gain followers.
Authorities say a Minnesota teen tried to fly to Turkey with the intent of joining ISIS in Syria. The 18-year-old Somali American pleaded guilty Thursday in a federal court in Minneapolis. In Canada, authorities are investigating several missing teens who attended a community college in Montreal. A police source said the teens may have traveled to Turkey in order to join ISIS. There was shock and concern among students.
It just makes us think, like, what were they thinking?
I can't believe that some students could have their mind like blown by that and leave the country to go there.
And 2 Brooklyn men are accused of trying to fly from New York to Turkey in hopes of eventually joining ISIS in Syria. Those 2 and a 3rd Brooklyn man accused of trying to help fund the trip appeared in court on Wednesday. Their attorney says the FBI is rushing to prosecute. Online propaganda by ISIS is a growing threat. The State Department says it's battling about 90,000 tweets each day, and the FBI says it's investigating homegrown violent extremists in all 50 states. The threat posed by ISIS came up at the Conservative Political Action Conference in Maryland Thursday.
We have radical Islamic terrorist groups that are in their adolescent stage that wish to destroy us. And we have 2 choices. We can wait and see what they're going to do and react to it, or we can destroy them first.
I'm Mary Maloney reporting.
A lot of clouds across the valley this afternoon, even a couple sprinkles starting to break out in a live view from Sky 5. This is what it looks like for your evening for the most part. Clouds around. We could see some sprinkles tonight, but we'll track warmer weather making a return next.
El Pollo Loco's Baja Shrimp is now available across our entire menu, which means delicious marinated Baja Shrimp come on all your favorite tacos, burritos, and tostadas. Shrimp. Try our new Baja Shrimp on all your favorite menu items. El Pollo Loco, crazy you can taste.
More excitement. More adventure. More tunes. More versatility. America's most exciting lineup is at your local Nissan store now. And now's the best time to get yours.
Choose from 15 models with 0% APR financing for up to 60 months. Or save up to $2,500 on the 27 MPG Highway Pathfinder.
Get to Nissan now. Offers end March 2nd.
Shop ChooseNissan.com. Innovation that excites.
The Bronx host WAC leading New Mexico State on Saturday at 7 at the UTPA Fieldhouse. Make sure you come to the homecoming tailgate party at 5 in the Fieldhouse parking lot. Bronx baseball is also home this weekend, hosting Lamar Friday at 7, Saturday at 2, and Sunday at noon at Edinburgh Baseball Stadium.
For over 37 years, Don West Flea Market has been the ultimate destination for great shopping and entertainment. Open Wednesdays, Saturdays, and Sundays from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. Entry is free, parking is free, and the live entertainment is free. With multiple vendors, you'll find the best in antiques, restaurants, clothing, Indian jewelry, fruits and vegetables, Wisconsin and Amish cheese, disability scooters, and much, much more. Don West Flea Market, 10 acres of great shopping, Victoria Road at U.S. Highway 83 in Donna.
Right now, save $5,500 off MSRP on 2015 Suburbans and $5,000 off MSRP on Tahoes during Truck Month. Plus, save $10,000 off MSRP on a 2014 Chevy Silverado Crew Cab with GM owner loyalty and trade assistance.
Come celebrate with us where the party and the savings never stop. Meet Fiesta.
Es su fiesta.
Fiesta Chevrolet Edinburgh.
At El Pollo Loco, we're proud to introduce our new 3-course family meal that's perfect for the whole family. Whether you're an omnivore, a carnivore, or a desertivore, new 8-piece 3-course family meal for $20. El Pollo Loco, crazy you can taste.
And now, First Warn 5 weather with meteorologist Alan Shoemaker.
Well, if you're out this afternoon, still a lot of clouds around the valley. As we showed you earlier, clouds on Sky 5 and radar has a couple sprinkles on it, but not much out there right now. A couple sprinkles trying to come in off the Gulf. You might see a sprinkle or two at times this evening, but your evening plans for the most part just going to be kind of cloudy. You might get a little drop on you here and there. Have a little bit better chance of sprinkles late tonight, well after midnight and tomorrow morning. But you see temperatures mostly in the low 60s. It gets cooler the farther west you go. 57 in Edinburgh, 56 in Rio Grande City. It's actually in the 40s in Zapata County right now. It's been sitting in the low 40s around Zapata the last several hours. The cold air is very close, but we kind of a little battle going on here. We have weak low pressure at the coast kind of throwing back some winds our way, helping to keep it a little bit warmer here, but the really cold stuff is just a little bit farther away from us. And you see it's 37 in Laredo, 34 in San Antonio. That cold air is not diving south. It's kind of just hanging out there. It might try to ooze in a little bit closer tonight and tomorrow morning, so you may see temperatures dip into the 50s, maybe even 40s in parts of the upper valley. But overall, we are still warmer than most of the state, where it's 26 in Dallas and it's been snowing on and off today, and 25 in San Angelo, and some decent amounts of snow, several inches in northwest Texas earlier today. You can see the satellite and radar here. We have one disturbance tracking with snow in North Texas and Oklahoma. And we have a couple sprinkles coming up from the south and some higher level clouds on top of our low clouds coming through the skies right now. When you look at what's happening across the state, the advisories are all up to the north. If you have travel plans tonight or tomorrow up in North Texas, there could still be some light snow or ice, especially up in far North Texas, up around Dallas, Fort Worth area. The farther and farther south you get in the blue here, this little dot right here, I'll zoom in for you at 6 o'clock, but this little area pokes down, that's where San Antonio is. So from San Antonio north is where the advisories start for winter weather advisories, some light snow and ice, and that little colored county up there is actually winter storm warnings up in North Texas, up around Dallas this evening. So winter weather up north, none of that coming here, so don't get excited for any snow. It's just way too warm. On future track, though, we have weak low pressure along the coast. That's kind of helping to keep the moisture around, too. Some sprinkles, some drizzle possible tonight and tomorrow morning with that disturbance in the area. Chilly weather hangs around just to our north and starts to get pushed away later tomorrow. So we may spend most of the day in the upper 50s and 60s tomorrow. If we get some sunshine, maybe punching 70, but it should be a somewhat cool afternoon like it was today. Drizzle and light rain continue up north on Sunday. We should be mainly dry here besides maybe a sprinkle Sunday morning. The next cold front rolls into the state. It's Monday and Tuesday. That front, though, too far away to do anything to us right away. So we will be on a warm-up, it looks like, with temperatures likely back above 80 in most areas. If not by Sunday, more likely by Monday. So your first 1570 forecast, 65 tomorrow. Should stay cloudy most of the day, and you might see a couple sprinkles through tonight and tomorrow, but no big rain. And Monday, or rather Sunday, we warm up close to 80 with mostly cloudy skies, maybe a little clearing later in the afternoon. Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, a big warming trend up in the 80s, lows in the 60s, but a strong cold front will be arriving sometime, it looks like late afternoon or early evening Wednesday. We should go from the 80s to the 50s on Thursday with clouds and some drizzle and some very gusty winds possible Wednesday night when the front passes. So mark that on your calendar as a front that's going to wake you up. We'll track that front and have more for you coming up later on Channel 5 News at 5 and at 6. Stay tuned.
To build strength and durability into the bed of the new Sierra, GMC engineers demanded rolled formed steel. For the same reason rolled steel is used in the hulls of submarines. Big ones. Introducing the new GMC Sierra, incredible thinking in the form of a truck. Now during the GMC President's Day event, get $8,000 total value on select specially equipped Sierra models in stock the longest. See your Valley GMC dealer.
For a great deal on a piano, come to the Nomad Shrine on Olana in Pharr this weekend, where you'll find baby grands, player pianos, uprights, and organs at fabulous discount prices. The big piano sale is this weekend at the Nomad Shrine on Olana in Pharr.
It's Truck Month right here, right now at Spikes Ford on the Expressway in Mission. We have low financing and big cash back on the 2014 F-150. the #1 selling truck for 38 years. Now that's impressive. At Spikes Ford, we sell you the vehicle you want.
Buy this 2014 F-150 Super Crew for only $32,500 or lease for only $345 per month.
Truck Month, right here, right now, at Spikes Ford on the Expressway in Mission. Take the Conway exit.
Just like you, we live, work, and play in the areas we serve. For Magic Valley, serving a community involves more than just providing electricity. You are likely to see us at your child's school, at community events, supporting local nonprofits. As our membership grows, we continue to ensure that you, our member, continues to receive safe, affordable, reliable power. You and I make Magic Valley, empowering you, empowering your community.
Get power, performance, and up to 41 highway MPG from the 2015 Dodge Dart, just $14,995. Only at Burt Ogden Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Ram on the Expressway in Harlingen. You can't import American pride.
Dale gas.
The fact is, in Texas, when you engineer a truck like Ram 1500 with best-in-class 29 miles per gallon highway and a 9,200-pound towing capacity, your playground gets a whole lot bigger. Get a great deal during Ram Truck Month.
Now, current owners of select pickups get $11,000 in total values on the 2015 Ram 1500 Lone Star Premium Crew Cab 4x2.
Breaking news into our studio. The Hidalgo County Sheriff's Office is charging a woman they say is responsible for the death of a 10-month-old infant. The baby died in October of 2014. Yamilet Riojas told deputies she left the baby and 2 other children in a bathtub while she went to do chores. When she returned, the baby was unresponsive in the tub. Riojas is charged with criminal negligent homicide and 2 counts of endangering a child. Well, earlier today in Missouri, a man allegedly distraught over the death of his mother goes on a shooting rampage. 7 people were gunned down. ABC's Marcy Gonzalez has a story for us at 5.
The crime scene stretching from home to home in the rural Missouri town of Tyrone. 7 people shot to death last night before police say the killer drove away and later turned the gun on himself. His body found in his vehicle along a highway.
We're still early in this investigation. We've still got family and people to talk to. You know, we're not going to have all the answers today.
The St. Louis Post-Dispatch reports that the coroner in Texas County, Missouri, believes the shooting spree may have started after the gunman found his elderly mother dead from natural causes. Police say the 36-year-old man then went to at least 4 other houses, opening fire. A girl who was in one of those homes called 911.
Indicated that she was in the residence and apparently had heard gunshots. She immediately fled to a neighbor's house to notify authorities and responding deputies.
Police say the girl is okay. All of the victims were adults, including a woman who was shot but survived and is now helping investigators. Yeah, police say they still don't know the motive, but they have identified the gunman as Joseph Jesse Aldridge, and they say at least several of the victims were his cousins. Marcy Gonzalez, ABC News, New York.
When you set out to find new roads, you obsess over perfection. Evolve function, elevate form, and create the highest quality mid-size sedan. Chevrolet, the most awarded car company of 2014. Now during the Chevy President's Day sale, current GM owners can choose an eligible Cruze and stock the longest and get $3,500 total cash allowance.
See your Rio Grande Valley Chevy dealers.
Burt Ogden Chevrolet, Burt Ogden Buick, GMC, and Fiesta Chevrolet are celebrating Truck Month. Choose from a huge selection of 2015 Chevy Tahoes, Suburbans, GMC Yukons, and Yukon XLs. Right now, take $5,500 off MSRP on Suburbans, $5,000 off Tahoes, and $5,000 off Yukon XLs. Hurry in during Truck Month and get the best deal on Tahoes, Suburbans, and Yukons at Burt Ogden Chevrolet in Mission, Fiesta Chevrolet, and Burt Ogden Buick, GMC in Edinburgh.
Dale gas.
Looking for designer glasses? Get Coach, Fendi, Armani, and many more for the best prices at iMart Express. Or choose 2 complete pairs, frames and lenses for $39. 2 pairs with no-line bifocals for $99. All with a free 1-year warranty. And you can wear your glasses today. We'll text you when they're ready. You get a lot more for less. At iMart Express. Most insurance accepted.
In Brownsville next to Target and in McAllen next to Applebee's in front of Burlington Coat Factory.
Hey, it's Truck Month. And why would you go anywhere else? Bogus sells more Ford trucks than any other Ford dealer in the Valley. With inventory at 2 locations, you have more selection than ever. Come into Bogus, the Valley's Ford truck headquarters. Right now, get into a 2014 Ford F-150 4x4 for just $299 a month. Or drive off in a new 2015 Ford Escape for only $199 a month. It's better at Bogus, in Harlingen, in McAllen, and always at BogusFord.com.
Whether you're just out with a best friend or best dressed for an evening out, Ford fuel economy is best in the long run. And Sync with My Ford Touch is your best call. Now get up to $3,500 cash back on Fusion or choose 0 for 60 plus 1,000 bonus cash.
Ford is the best in Texas.
Here's your first 1570 forecast. 65 tomorrow. Clouds most of the day, maybe a sprinkle or 2, especially in the morning. Sunday, we should start to clear out and warm up. Then look at Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday in the 80s, but we're tracking a strong cold front Wednesday. We'll track that for you coming up at 6.
Hope you can join us in half an hour for Channel 5 News at 6. Till then, have a great evening. Bye-bye.
Closed captioning brought to you by Channel 5 and Clark Knapp Honda.
Hey, new RAV4? Where are you off to?
Camping, caving, meteor shower, homecoming, Mardi Gras, teacher conference, fly fishing, base camp, herping.
Searching for amphibians.
Oh.
The 2015 Toyota RAV4. With more features and more tech, you're ready for anything. Right now, get $750 customer cash or 0% financing for 60 months on the adventurous 2015 RAV4. Toyota, let's go places.
What if I told you affordable luxury is not a myth? Did you know that at Bird Ogden Infiniti in Edinburgh, you can get luxury, performance, safety, and affordability too?
Like the 2015 Infiniti Q40 for just $229 per month.
With luxury cars for less than $300 per month, you owe it to yourself to stop in today. Find affordable luxury with world-class style and exceptional service at Bird Ogden Infiniti in Edinburgh. Dale gas!
Whoa, look at all these coats.
I predict it's gonna be a cold winter.
I can make a fortune out of all these coats.
This one's missing a button, but we can fix that.
We can sell them.
Or you could give them to someone in need.
Okay.
Someday I'm gonna talk about this on TV.
The cleaners will clean them.
And we'll mend them.
Catholic Charity and Salvation Army will give them out.
30 years and still going strong.
Sharing the warmth.
With Tim's Coats.
You're watching KRGV, Channel 5 Weslaco.
Tonight, the major weekend storm about to hit from Denver to Chicago to Boston. The major pileup near Dallas already. Deadly accidents, black ice, 25 states in the path. The breaking news tonight, just now, the dramatic no vote. Is Congress about to allow funding for Homeland Security to run out? Security for airports, borders. The mask comes off tonight, the most wanted terrorist in the world, wearing the Pittsburgh cap, and as a boy, Brian Ross and why they blocked our camera. Diane Sawyer is back tonight, her reporting 8 months in the making. 4 prisons, the women, the Little League mom behind bars, and the dress. Is it white and gold or black and blue? Why are we all seeing something different? Finally, an answer tonight.
From ABC News World Headquarters, this is ABC World News Tonight with David Muir.
Good evening. We have a lot to get to this Friday night, and we begin with this major winter storm set to hit this weekend. More than 120 million Americans. The timing couldn't be worse. It will stretch from the Rockies through the Midwest right into New England. In the last 24 hours, treacherous driving, images through the windshield there in Oklahoma, and in Texas tonight, Just one of so many spinouts, the black ice, the invisible danger. And drivers stunned by what they're witnessing, this pileup on a Texas highway. And just look at the gridlock this evening, the commute leading into the weekend. Meteorologist Rob Marciano with the path of the storm, 25 states. But first, ABC's Clayton Sandell from Denver.
Snow is hitting the south tonight as millions brace for yet another storm. 15 cars piled up outside Dallas-Fort Worth today. Traffic all over at a standstill.
My son's got shoulder surgery here. The snow isn't bad, but it's just now we can't get there. So they're walking a half an hour to get to the hospital.
This Fort Worth cop offered an extra push today. Icy, treacherous roads are vexing